Welcome back to Toy Art. My name is Zach, and this is the channel. It's all about art and the design of toys. Today, I'm going to go talk about something kind of different here. Just thinking about Jason David Frank left us pretty recently. Known for the Power Rangers Green and White Ranger fame, as well as a very successful MMA fighter, from what I've read about here. Right. So I was thinking about he took his own life. It was a sad set of events, but really, I think suicide. It's hard to admit, but suicide really, I don't know if it it. I can't say it speaks to me. I'm not suicidal as we're talking on this video here, but I've had those thoughts before. So it always gets me a little bit deeper in the heart when someone who I've looked up to over the years and had a celebratorial relationship with. It's like I never met him, never talked to him once, but he's like they're a part of your life as a celebrity. So that always hits quite a bit harder for me because it's like, man, is that how I end up as well? Right? So I know a lot of us have these thoughts as toy collectors were it's gotten a lot better over the years as far as being societally accepted. Like I can bring people over to my apartment, and this is this is my backdrop, right? So people just know this is a part of me, and it's made my apartment a lot cozier as I try to make it in a nice, really well displayed setup that's also inviting, and people are like, oh, that's his thing. It's like other people have plants, and I have two cats as well to keep me company. So there's all sorts of parts of this toy collecting thing that has grown into something that's part of our culture. But growing up, that wasn't the thing. I was a teenager in the 90s. So I grew up on my toy introductions were G.I. Joe, Transformers, Ninja Turtles in the 90s. My first real collecting started up, I want to say, was something that I was, instead of playing with, collecting for certain space, was Toy Biz's X-Men. That's kind of why I wore this shirt, to do a little representation, right? Toy Biz X-Men. I still have my Gambit from that time in box, and so I got two Gambits, right? One to display, one to play, right? So, but that was something you kept under hidden cover of night, right? Not something that you talked about. The fact I would rush home to watch Sailor Moon and Batman the Animated Series and all of these different things that other kids didn't really talk about back then. It wasn't until forums came about in the late 90s that I started finding my people, so to speak. And it's still even to this day, it's kind of a solitary um, little thing, a collection thing. But I'm finding more and more. I have friends that I work with that are into Hot Toys or into all sorts of other figures and stuff. So it's gotten better over time. However, toys and comic books and professional wrestling have always been the soothing for my anxiety and depression. And one of the reasons I started this channel out was to talk about the art and design of action figures. I wanted to meld my profession with what I love, which is toys. Nothing pops me more than finding something I've really wanted, on display at a toy store, or finding it randomly at a Target. I remember when I found the classified Firefly when he was first coming out. I was like, holy shit, there he is. Such a cool time. So those have always been little dopamine rushes and adrenaline rushes too. So over the years, I thought I'd build this channel up, and I thought about it for a long time, and I finally launched it, right? So as I've launched it, I've taken breaks from it as well too. Not being consistent. This time around, I'm hoping and planning and writing down goals that I can be consistent with the show, because there's some subscribers and you all are out here, right? And I want to make content for you. I love YouTube. I love watching YouTube, and I want to be part of that. Every time I watch something like Geek Dad Life or YHS, Secret Galaxy, all these things that people who I've come to know as friends are making these channels. I'm like, man, why? Like, I get jealous. I want to get out there and do it. So I'm doing it. But like, I've had to take a few mental health breaks where my mental health was not great. Um, I will always advocate for therapy and psychiatry. I have a psychiatrist and a therapist. They are phenomenal. Um, and the work that I've been doing with them has opened up a lot of eyes, like on my own behalf. But one thing I've really loved about it is that they've always um, encouraged not only in my professional work in comics and storyboarding and character design, but also the collecting part of it as a hobby. Because it is a hobby. Like it's the best hobby. I'll be honest. I love it that much, and you can see behind me I have so many of them. But like, they encourage me to get out of the house too, because I get a little otaku-ish here. Like I like, being comfortable in my own place, talking about toys, unboxing toys, showing off toys, whatever it is. But I think it's important that we as collectors start really like delving in. If you're dealing with depression, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're having suicidal ideations, those things is like, it's important to reach out for help. And it's hard to talk about this. I'll be just frank. I was sitting on the couch before this, kind of melazing. I was like, I know I need to record this. I know it's important for me to record this. However, I just didn't want to, because I was like, oh, it's been a long freaking day. And to talk about depression after a long day, it's like, no thanks, right? But, the more and more we talk about this, the more and more it's accepted, just like with action figures and talking more and more about like what we collect, how much we enjoy it. The more we talk about mental health and get rid of the stigmas behind it, the more healthy we're going to be and the more equipped we are to help each other and hold each other up when we're having tough times. I'm very lucky to have a good support network here. Absolutely. And while I'm thinking of moving out of the city I'm in the next year, actually, like I'm planning on it, so not just thinking about it anymore, it's tough to say goodbye to a support network that's local. But I'll find more. So that's just one of those things is like, it's important to find a support network no matter where you are. And, toy groups are so phenomenal for that. I pay for the Patreon for Geek Dad Life, and I'm very happy that I do that, because jumping on that Discord and chit-chatting, we talk wrestling, we talk toys. If you've never been a part of it, you should totally jump in on it. It's a great way to spend $5 a month. So advertising portion over. I really think it's important to have a support network, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. Toys are some of my greatest joy, and I love it in all forms. I love the independent art form of Sofubi and vinyl figures. I love like the corporate stuff as well too. Like these are all things that like, rock and roll with me. Honestly, like I love my Marvel Legends. I have a huge honkin' collection. My main thing is X-Men with with Marvel Legends. Like that's my subset, so to speak. My main collecting habits these days are classified with G.I. Joe, and Marvel Legends X-Men. And then I get like stuff here and there, like the comic accurate Ninja Turtle stuff that's coming out right now. I was like, oh, you got me right back in, NECA. So I love talking about this stuff. I love listening to my cats make mess. I love talking about toys. I love talking about like the art and design that goes into them. And that's more and more what's going to be coming over through here in this channel, and more consistently. I just wanted y'all to know like where I was, like, and why you didn't see me posting so much stuff. And if I take a break, I'm going to be much more vocal, be like, hey guys, I'm taking a break for a little while. My brain needs some healing. So that's going to be what this channel is, where I've been, and what, where I am right now. I'm feeling good, and I've got like some Mondo X-Men stuff to cover. I've got some exciting stuff that like I've got on Black Friday from like that in the wrestling world that I'm going to talk about. Man, it's going to be just a super fun, like, festive month to talk about really cool toys and bring in the new year with some more exciting toys. My birthday's in the new year, so feel free to send me all the toys to review. I'll do reviews. We'll talk about a lot about art and design as well too. So, anyways, this is more of a little bit of a again, just a little 10-minute precursor to say if you're dealing with depression, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with something totally different than that mental health wise, find your community, get the support you need. If you can't afford it, there's free options. And while it is, honestly, it's kind of scary to start up and talk about therapy and psychiatry and that kind of thing. But if I can tell you this much, it's gotten me into a much healthier state of being. And it's got me thinking less and less about there's always some kind of depressive cloud when I'm happy, or the fact that my life could end in suicide. There's a lot less of that these days. And I'm extremely thankful for the support network I have. So now that I'm done with that, let's get back to some toys. I'll see you in the next video. It's going to be awesome. Thanks for taking this journey with me. I really appreciate you. I'll talk to you later on. I'll leave some access to some mental health resources here on the screen to close out this video. Usually I talk about liking, commenting, and subscribing. However, I'm not going to just sit here and drill that in. I'd rather talk about these are the resources. This is what you need. If you need someone to lean on, send me a DM. I'm happy to talk, honestly. Really leave a comment. If you're feeling like doing it publicly, let's chat. Again, thank you so much for coming on this journey with me, and we'll see you next time.